Portland's new 12-person city council is now about 8 months into their term, and with that many councilors on board, it's no surprise that coalitions might form. Recently, Willamette Week's Sophie opened our eyes to a group of 6 councilors who call themselves Peacock, which is short for Progressive Caucus. Candace Avalos, Jamie Dunphy, plus 4 self-described Democratic socialists, Sameer Kanal, Tiffany Koyama Lane, Angelita, Morillo, and Mitch Green. Councilor Green is here. The economist and former senior risk analyst at the Bonneville Power Administration represents Portland's downtown and the west side in District 4. Councilor Green, welcome to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Well, thanks for having me, Ken.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Peacock first. Sophie Peel's article in Willamette Week unveiled some real-time text messages between you and the other Peacock councilors during budget hearings. Now, should you be having these kind of communications during a public hearing?
Well, I think that if the communication's happening during a public hearing and you're taking the decision and you're talking about those the matter of those texts in real time, it's not clear to me that that's inappropriate. I think the key piece here is, are we coordinating to advance the policy objectives of the people who elected us? And you know, when we got elected, many of us were progressive and very loudly so. And pretty early on, we put out a press release and said, hey, this is who we are. We're values-aligned councilors, and we're going to work together to try to deliver wins to our communities.
How much is Peacock driving the agenda at City Hall, the 6 city councilors?
Well, I mean, I think we got quite a lot of wins in the budget process. We showed up for parks. We've passed resolutions on social housing, but we've also reached across the aisle, so to speak, and there's not 2 aisles at City Council, but there's different coalitions. I joined up with Councilor Loretta Smith in District 1 to pass a bill for sidewalks in District 1 and District 4. So I think Peacock members vote together quite often, but there's areas where we definitely work with other people for sure.
Councilor Morillo had some fun with all this. You've probably seen this video. Let's run it.
Are you in the mafia?
Am I in the what?
What did you think of that when you saw that?
Well, I was part of it, and I was like, look, I've had an opportunity to be in one of Councilor Murillo's famed videos. What a pleasure. I mean, I think the thing to remember is that she's a Gen Z councilor, and using medium in a different way that speaks to a younger generation is really important. I think it was a play on a meme that was floating around in TikTok with that Sopranos music, and I think it was just to sort of say, look, yeah, we're here. There's 6 of us. We're progressives, and we're going to be pretty unabashed about the things we're fighting for.
There were a number of complaints about those communications to the city attorney, the Oregon Government Ethics Commission, alleging a violation of public meeting laws. City Attorney Robert Taylor dropped the matter. The Ethics Commission said it didn't come to their attention within their 30-day deadline. However, the city attorney did say that this is a critical opportunity for additional training for our city council. So how do you interpret that?
Well, I'm really looking forward to that additional training. I think one of the other things the city attorney said in that release was that he quoted extensively from the Oregon Government Ethics Commission's own confusion of that law. And I think there was a quote that said something like, if we don't fully understand this, how can we expect the public to understand this? So I think there's opportunity for both the OGEC to kind of true this up a little bit, and also city councilors to get another briefing on you know, what lessons learned from that experience. What I'll just say is that, look, if these communications have somehow violated the rules, we will absolutely make a change. But I think the key piece is that we're going to continue to work together to advance a progressive agenda for Portland.
Let's take a look at another issue here. It was just announced that you, Councilors Dunphy and Avalos, are going to Vienna next month to look at their affordable housing efforts. First of all, who's paying for that? And second of all, why are you going?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Councilor Avalos and I were the chief co-sponsors of a social housing resolution last spring, and Councilor Dunphy was also one of the co-sponsors. And the idea was, let's go study best practices on how the best cities in the world have done affordable housing and mixed income housing public development, sometimes called social housing. Vienna is the best in the world at this. And so going on a best practices trip to learn from other communities is a pretty common thing for governments to do. And it made sense for the co-sponsors of this of this resolution to attend that trip that another group is planning and hosting. My office budget is paying for my travel and my attendance in this, and my chief of staff. We're given discretion on how we use the external materials and services budget of that, and instead of opening up a district office or having a third, another staff member, I prefer to keep a little bit of that money available for training and travel.
And what concretely do you hope to get out of this? Or is there going to be a report that's issued? And how is it going to apply to our homeless situation here in Portland?
I'm so glad you asked that question. So you started off by saying that I was an economist. I still am. The things that I'm going to be paying attention to and asking questions when I'm over there is how do we pay for this? How does Vienna pay for this? Because they've got a cost recovery model that's quite affordable. And what I don't think that the city of Portland can do is shoulder on its own an endless subsidy model. And so I would like to figure out how they figure out a sustainable way to produce long-term permanent affordable housing and bring that back so that when we follow up after the resolution with a policy proposal that actually creates social housing, we've got our ducks in the row on how to use the dollars in this community, which are ample, to pay for social housing to keep people in this community.
Mayor Wilson's goal is to end unsheltered homelessness by the end of the year. Where are we on that? I mean, are we on the right track, and can that goal actually be accomplished from where you're sitting?
I will say this, it is a heroic effort. It's an ambitious goal. If you go into City Hall today, he's got a little placard that's like one of those temperature meters. It's like, here's the goal, 1,500, here's where we're at. We're currently at 400 beds. So there's a lot of work to be done. It also means opening up some of these larger capacity shelters that are a little controversial in some of these neighborhoods. And so, when I voted for the budget to give him the money to pursue this agenda, that was a sort of statement that I trust you to pursue this objective this year. I want to give you the tools to be successful. I really hope the mayor is successful. But for me, I'm going to be very concerned about what happens at 6 a.m. when folks are let out of these shelters, and do we really have the resources that have been promised to these communities for the enhanced cleanup, the outreach workers to kind of move those folks on their journey, as the mayor likes to say, into permanent housing. And I'll just say that overnight shelters they're not a substitute for housing, which is really the root of the problem, which is why I'm studying social housing.
We've only got about a minute left, but I do want to touch on this. We've seen how the Trump administration is cracking down on sanctuary cities. We just heard from Border Czar Tom Homan saying that there's going to be an increased presence here in Portland in the future. He was just here last week. When you hear that, what do you think? And are we in a position to deal with that here in Portland if the administration does turn its focus on the city?
Well, I will tell you this. It is quite common in this city for tens of thousands of people to pour into the street, pour into the waterfront, protesting Donald Trump, saying we don't want kings, we don't want dictators. I view that as a mandate for the city to stand up 10 toes down against this administration and defend our values. We'll only be successful if we're united. Trump succeeds by dividing us on these issues and picking us off one by one. So I think that we have a good stance here in town, and I think we can fight back.
And briefly, how does your status as a Democratic socialist affect your decisions at City Hall? Are you voting philosophy, or are you voting the interests of your District 4?
I vote the interests of my District 4, but there's a lot of different viewpoints on how to get that done in this district. And being a DSA member informs that every single day. Am I making a decision that brings people up from the bottom and doesn't leave anyone behind?
Thank you very much for being here on Eye on Northwest Politics, Councilor.
Thank you, Ken.